What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Back with another video comparing some of the top action cameras in the world right now and seeing which one is the best. Is it going to be the GoPro Hero 13 Black or the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro? To those of you that are new to the channel, I used to be a GoPro user for the entire time that I've been making content. About a year and a half or 2 years ago, right when the Action 4 came out, that's when I switched permanently to DJI. And now we've leveled up to the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. So let me show you why I've made the switch from the GoPro to the DJI. Before we get to the riding part and showing you guys how these cameras look side to side comparison while riding, I want to talk about the setups because as you guys can see, they are quite different. The DJI has a much smaller and more minimalistic setup. All you need is the camera itself. This is a little window cover that I added that is not really necessary. It can come off just like that. And all you need is an adapter. DJI has a mic adapter, or the cool option with DJI is that you can also opt out for a universal adapter, something like this that I got literally from Amazon or eBay, as long as you make sure that it's compatible. This is the one that I'm using from Movo, and this works perfectly. All I have to do is, and you're good to go. I like this little attachment that I added just to give it a clearer look, and it's also from DJI. The GoPro, on the other hand, requires media mod, which is not only a lot more expensive than a universal little adapter, but also makes the setup extremely bulky and more inconvenience to kind of take this thing apart when you're trying to change your setup and mess with it, such as moving it from one helmet to the other, or even if you'd like to swap out the batteries or the SD card. It just makes it slightly more annoying to deal with. But for motovlogging purposes, the main thing is the size and the weight. Weight comparison for you guys, we have the GoPro Hero 13 at 7.3 ounces. And then we have the Osmo Action 5 Pro coming in at 5.2 ounces. Because the GoPro is so much bigger, I had to use slightly bigger extensions for the GoPro so it fits in nicely. This right here is the DJI's arms and magnetic mounts, while this right here is a GoPro's with a GoPro magnetic mount. Just clicks in just like that. The Action 5 is smaller. Can fit right here. Universal adapter, your lav mic, and you're good to go. But if I use the same connector with the GoPro, you guys can see that the camera would not fit and it would hit my visor. Therefore, I have to use these longer extension arms. Same thing with the magnetic setup, and now the GoPro fits. You can tell it's a lot more bulky, and that's mainly because of the media mod, besides the camera itself being also slightly bigger than the DJI's. The GoPro starts at $400, while the DJI starts at $350. The bigger problem with the GoPro is that you need to buy this media mod if you'd like to go motovlogging, and that is an $80 option, which brings the total to $480 for the GoPro. While the DJI being at $350, all you need is the DJI small adapter or this universal adapter, which costs about $20, bringing the total to about $370, over $100 cheaper, while maintaining a smaller size. Now let's turn both of these cameras on and do a little comparison in an artificial light. It's a very well lit garage, but still obviously not as bright as being outdoors, and it's still artificial lighting. So let's see how these cameras look. What you guys might notice right away, right from the start, is that this screen looks a lot better, and that's because DJI has not only one but dual OLED touchscreens, which absolutely look amazing even in bright scenarios. I'm gonna actually turn both these cameras off right now, and that is because I want to show you guys the quick capture mode. Quick capture is pretty much when you click the record button and the camera should turn on and start recording right away. But we'll do a little live test right here to see which camera, now that both cameras have the same settings. This is shooting in 10-bit D-Log M, and this is shooting in D-Log. 3, 2, 1. You can tell how much faster this is. And now let's switch to a side-to-side comparison with both of these cameras so you guys can see them. Now we have both of these cameras shooting in 4K 60 frames per second, their widest settings. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and which one looks better. The side-to-side comparison of my garage under artificial lighting. And now that you've seen both cameras in my garage comparing their setups. It's time to take them outside for a ride, starting with the DJI. Let's go.
And here you guys have it. We're starting off with the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. Decided to take my beautiful Ninja H2, the world's fastest motorcycle. And now let's talk about some of the features of the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. DJI incorporated a bunch of features for the DJI Osmo that made this camera extremely easy to use. Another thing is, of course, the image quality. I think the image quality is one of the sharpest, cleanest qualities of all action cameras on the market right now. And the beautiful thing about the Osmo Action 5 is that it gives you so many color modes where you can change and have a bunch of flexibility. Looks awesome. We have a ton of flexibility over your color and how you want your image to look like in post-production. And we're going to be shooting with the exact same settings on the GoPro as well later on. Here is how it looks like before editing, and here is how it looks like after editing. Another amazing thing is that the Action 5 Pro is the only action camera that has a color temperature sensor. We're also not using any ND filters for either cameras, just to keep this comparison as fair as possible. I also love how simple the settings menu is for the DJI. They're giving you everything that you need to control, all in a clean, simple, and very easy to see setup. Besides the image quality and how easy the Action 5 is to use, some of my favorite features include the battery life and how reliable this camera is. While still capturing some of the best footage, this camera will not fail you. It will not overheat, and will also keep maintaining this awesome battery life even in cold temperatures. And going back to the image quality, I wanted to go into this extremely dark parking structure so I can show you guys how good this camera is in extremely dark environments like this. I can't even see myself because I have a slightly tinted visor. There we have it. Come to a stop, and I will record right now with both cameras next to each other under the same lighting so you guys can see a side-to-side comparison. But before that, I'll recap some of my favorite features that we talked about with the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. Reliability. This camera will not crash on you and it will not overheat. Best in the industry battery life. And top tier image quality, as well as having all the color mode options so your footage can come out exactly the way you want it to. Here is a side-to-side comparison for you guys with both cameras while also using the exact same settings. The GoPro does have a slightly wider view, but it also gives you a little bit of that fisheye warped look. And here is how the footage looks before any color grading, and now after with color grading. And now that you've seen how both these cameras look during the daytime, let's take the GoPro out for a ride. And now we have switched to the GoPro Hero 13. Still similar lighting, and you guys saw the comparison of the two cameras side to side, and now you're going to see riding. And we're going to take a very similar route, a true test of, you know, being in a very dark parking structure, but also riding outside during this beautiful sunset time. Right as I switch my setups from the DJI to the GoPro, one of the first things I notice is that this camera is heavier. The helmets for motorcycles are made to be extremely light and aerodynamic, so having a bigger camera on these helmets not only weighs the helmet down more and puts more strain on your neck, but also ruins the aerodynamics of your helmet. And here is the same parking structure going down. The H2 setting off alarms. This thing is so loud. So this way you guys can see for yourself the low light quality between both the DJI and the GoPro. As you guys can see, I've tested it myself before, and I know for a fact even before editing this footage that the DJI has the upper hand when it comes to low light quality. That being said, I know I've been praising the DJI this whole time because simply I was a GoPro user for many years. I had a GoPro and I switched, and that started with the DJI Osmo Action 4, which is absolutely an amazing camera. I think DJI killed it with that, and I was like, I don't know how much better they can make it, and they totally made it better with the Action 5, and I was just even more impressed. And that's why I currently use the DJI as my main camera for all motovlog things that I do. Simply because of two main factors. First being the image quality, and second of all being the battery life. The battery life is just out of this world when it comes to the DJI. It's by far the best, about double the amount of filming time. I can easily film 2 to 3 videos on one battery, while back in the day I was barely able to finish one long video. Maybe usually one video was kind of my max, and you guys would complain too and ask me to carry more batteries with me, but unfortunately when we ride sometimes we lose batteries, and also, you know, it's just so much easier now that I don't have to deal with that. And lastly, the reliability, like I was telling you guys, it's just nice to have a camera where you can capture, record, and you don't have to worry about overheating or the camera not filming, because as you guys can see, you know, I should be focused on the road, riding, and not kind of worried if my camera is recording or not. All of that being said, I still think the GoPro does one thing very well, and that's their audio. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think now that you've heard me use both the DJI and the GoPro while riding? I think something about the GoPro, overall, the sound of me talking, the sound of other people talking to me, as well as the bike sound mixed in very well, while the DJI is probably the better camera while riding. So as I'm riding the motorcycle, how clear my voice is and how well you guys can hear the bike, it gives it a more true to real life sound. But I would say at events, the GoPro somehow does a really good job at maintaining the gain of listening to other people, myself, and everything all together when we're not moving on the motorcycle. So we put them through such a very intense test when we ride motorcycles. These motorcycles are over 100 decibels, and we're riding on freeways with all the wind noise, and then we stop riding, and then, you know, you're talking to other people, which is very, very quiet, so it's very, very extreme. So all action cameras could use a slight upgrade when it comes to the audio. There you guys have it. Let me know what you guys think about the DJI and the GoPro, and I've explained why I've made the shift switching from GoPro to DJI, and so far I've been completely loving the experience. It's definitely made filming and creating content a lot easier for me and a lot less of a headache. For someone that films as often as I do and their main job is social media, I'm very reliant on having a really good action camera. So shout out to DJI. Their link is going to be the top in the description down below. Check them out and get yourself a new DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro, and I promise you won't regret it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out and ride safe.